All right, recording started. So good morning and, well, good afternoon, I suppose now. Welcome back to term 2. It's obviously going to look a little different than normal. However, we're going to make do the best we can with what we've got. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go over and review what happened in chapter 2, right up to where we were before we had our early school holidays. Alright, so on the screen in front of you, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There should be 15 numbers in front of you. That is some data that I've already sorted. Alright, what we need to do is figure out these are all statistical answers to particular questions. Maybe it's when is everyone's birthday? What month they're in? Who knows? Anyway, we have some numbers here. We're going to do some statistics on them. So, first things first, we have the mean. The mean is another word for average. Alright? So, helps if I actually have a average. Alright. We have our average. What is the average of these numbers here and how do we calculate it? Alright, so we need to add all these numbers up and then divide by the number of numbers. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 numbers. So we need to add them all up and then divide by 15. So we're going to add them up and then divide them all up. Has anyone got a calculator handy in the chat and would be able to quickly do that for me? Add them up and divide. So there are 15 numbers there. What are they all added up? $86 of someone saying 86. Anyone else got 86 or something different? I should get a little bit more than 86. $109. I've got 109, 109. All right. Yep. The answer is 109. 109 divided by 15. Yep, another 109. And then 109 divided by 15 should be, so 7.266 recurring. You need to stretch your screen out. There should be 15 numbers. Go full screen. Alright, there are 15 numbers there, I assure you. Let me just check something. Yep. The numbers should be there. Yeah, just hide the chat. Hide the chat, and then you should be able to see everything. Alright? Okay, so 109 divided by 15 gets you your mean. Now, the median, similar to how we have median strips on the road, median is another word for the middle. So what we're looking for is the number that is in the middle of all these other numbers. Alright, so 15 numbers. Remember, what we do is we find the number. I'm going to change colors for this. The number in the n plus 1 over 2 position. So since I have 15 numbers, 15 plus 1 is 16, divided by 2 is 8. I need to find the 8th number along. Remember, your data must be sorted smallest to largest so that we can find it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, if you're having trouble with the audio, don't worry. Everything will go on the internet. Alright, and our mode. What we're looking for a mode is the most common number. So, which number shows up the most? Most common number. Alright, so what we need to do is we simply just need to look through here. Which number shows up the most? It is these three numbers here. So we have a mode of 12. Alright. Now that we have this though, we can start doing other work around it. So I need to erase a couple of things so that I have some extra room. So just get rid of these. Just fix my data. I can't just get rid of things. Yes, these explanations for 2G are coming, like literally right now. Just bear with me a moment while I fix my accidental eraser marks. I'm using a tablet and I'm still getting used to using it. All right. So with a data set, what we can do is we can describe how far apart and how spread apart it is based on what's called the IQR. Alright, so we have our IQR. So it stands for interquartile range. Oh, that's really bad. Alright, so as part of our interquartile range, there's that word quartile. Alright, someone in the chat, share with me where you might see that quart before. Where have you seen that quart before? What other word do we know in maths? Where does the word quart, what other maths word, there you go. So I've got someone sending it privately. Thank you. Ali sent it to everybody. Thank you. So quarter, when we are talking about dividing things into quarters, how many pieces are we dividing them into? 4. All right, so yeah, lots of people saying 4. That's great. So as part of this, what we are doing is we are going to take our data and divide it into quarters. All right, and the way we do that is by first finding our median. Now, I've got my median up here. It's 7, but it's not any 7. It's this 7. All right, I have 15 numbers in my data set, assuming you can see all 15 numbers because of the chat. Chat might be blocking it, but there are 15 numbers here. the number in the 8th position in the middle is 7. So I have a top half over here, and I now have a bottom half of my data down here. So a top half and a bottom half. And what we're going to do is we're now going to take each individual half and then find the median of those. All right? So for these numbers here, my really bad highlighting. We now need to find the median of these 7 numbers. We have 7 numbers, so how do I find the median of these 7 numbers? All right, so same as I find the middle of the whole data set, the median, n plus 1 divided by 2. All right, so I have 7 numbers, 7 plus 1 is 8, 8 divided by 2 is 4. I need to find the number in the 4th position. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've now found the median of the bottom half of my data. We call this one Q1. All right, it's Q1. Now we need to find the top half. So again, 7 numbers. I need to find the 4th number in those numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have this one here. The 11 is called my Q3. And the interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. So what is Q3 minus Q1? Yep, 7. So I have a range of 11, because 12 minus 1 is 11. But then I have an IQR, of only 7. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to swap screens, and we now have our textbook. Hooray! All right. So can people see the textbook? Hopefully you can. All right. So these questions are pretty self-explanatory. I do not have... This is on the online version, so there's no textbook page. Give me a moment, I will find it for you. This is 2G. Page 88. Alright, so this is page 88 from your textbook. Alright. So calculate the mean, median, and IQR without a calculator. Obviously, we don't need a mode for this. Alright. So first question here. Without using a calculator, find the mean and the median for these data sets. Because the data sets are so small, finding an IQR isn't that important or that relevant. So that's why they're not asking you to do it for these ones. Mean, median, so add them up, divide by the number of numbers, and find the number in the middle once you have sorted them. That is always the important thing. Whenever you're doing the median, make sure your numbers are sorted. All right, sort your damn numbers. All right. Now, once you look at the second question, there's a larger data set. they have in fact sorted it for you already, but you are then required to find the IQR and range. All right? Remember, range is the largest minus the smallest. The IQR is Q3 minus Q1. All right? So, I'm going to add that to my little thing. There you go. Oh. Whoa. Alright, IQR is Q3 minus Q1. Obviously, I can't do the little, so the 3 and the 1 are in subscript, little underneaths. I can't do that on OBS for the text, which is a shame. Alright. So, median, IQR, those should be pretty self-explanatory. Once we scroll down and we go to these here, only UseAid could somehow find a way to still have your laptop die at home. All right. So, now remember, when we get to the calculator section, it is going to be a little different, obviously, because you'll need to use your CAS to help you find these things. Remember that your CAS has this lovely function that can generate a lot of information very, very quickly. All right. Now, there's one other piece of information that I haven't shared with everyone yet, and that is regarding standard deviation. All right. So some of these questions are going to ask for standard deviation. There is a very complicated formula that goes with it. It is that bad boy right there. All right. I am not expecting you to memorize that formula. All right, not expecting you to memorize that formula. However, I do expect you to understand what it is and where it is calculated. All right, so I'm going to bring up my CAS calculator and show you where it comes from, because I happen to have a CAS on this computer now. Oh, you guys are funny. All right, add window capture. I want to capture Can you guys see my CAS next to the textbook? Awesome. All right. So, question here, we want to look at, what I want you to do is I want you to look at question 6 in particular. So question 6 in particular mentions standard deviation. All right, so we go to statistics and we put our numbers in. Alright, so I've got 16 numbers there. Hooray, go me. I got it all in there. Alright. Now, under calc, I go to one variable. And I use my list there. And I get this lovely... this thing here. Alright, and what this here is, it spits out a whole bunch of information about what's going on. So it says there x dash is 365.8125. Alright, so that's telling me the average of this data set is only 365. Now, as we all know, how much is actually supposed to be in a can? It says right there in the question. 365 milliliters of liquid. A sample of these contents yielded the following. Zoom out just a tiny little bit so you can see it all. Alright, yielded the following contents. Have one of us has made a mistake then, if if we haven't got all the numbers in there. Well, either way, my numbers are correct. My numbers match what's there. So calc, one variable, and it brings up this data set here. The first one there, x dash, is your average. So they're advertising it as being 375 milliliters of liquid. However, our data shows that it's actually only 365 for this sample of cans. All right. Now, going through my data, I can see here I've got Q1 as being 359. I've got a minimum, I've got a maximum, I've got a median of 366.5, and I've got a max as well. I happen to have a couple of modes show up there a few times. But the number that I'm looking for is SX, this one here, 8.4239. Okay? That number there, SX, is what is called your standard deviation. Alright, correct to one decimal place is going to be about 8.4. And what standard deviation means is that your numbers are within a certain range of the median. Ideally, all of your information is inside 3 standard deviations of the mean. All right, it's how we determine if there are any abnormalities. All right, you'll get some more explanation on this later. But for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the recording, and then I'm going to get you guys to go do some work. Now remember, for your engagement credit for this class, you need to make sure that you have sent through your answers for 2G, handwritten preferably. Either you just take a photo of your book, or if you've got a scanner, I'm sure you guys can figure it out. Sending pic through email, that's great, whatever. As long as I can see that it's done, so I can tick you off. I haven't made a learning task for it. Actually, I probably should do that now, actually. All right. So, if you're watching this on YouTube replay, thank you for persevering. And while I struggle through all this technology stuff, while I hide under my CAS calculator. All right. So, thank you very much for watching.